All right, diving right in, huh? A whole stack of microbiology notes here.
You weren't kidding?
Nope, all about bacteria today. Got to admit some of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's, well, fascinating, but kind of gross too, right?
That's bacteria in a nutshell, I guess.
Uh-huh, yeah, exactly. I think when most people hear bacteria,
Right.
they just think disease, but it's way more complicated than that.
It really is. Way more.
And you've always been great at explaining, like,
Right.
the why behind the sciencey stuff. So I'm excited to unpack this, get a clearer picture.
I'm with you. A clearer picture of bacteria.
Yeah, how they shape our world, basically.
Well, think about it. Bacteria, they've been around for, what?
Billions of years, right?
Billions. Yeah, way before humans ever showed up.
Long before us.
And they've evolved, like, all these crazy ways to survive.
Wild.
Some are pretty ingenious, even if they do.
Even if they
cause us problems sometimes.
Makes sense. So before we get into, like, the specifics, I'm noticing in these notes a lot about how scientists
Oh, well.
classify bacteria, shapes, staining, oxygen, like it's
Whole system.
Yeah, a whole system.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
Imagine organizing a library with, like, millions of books.
Right.
But no Dewey Decimal System. That's what it was like before.
Chaos.
Total chaos. We had ways to classify these guys. But now, well, we use shape, rods, spheres, spirals, and staining techniques like the Graham stain. It's all about grouping them, putting all the, all the mystery novels together.
Makes sense.
All the biographies together.
Yeah.
Helps to,
Organize.
Yeah, make sense of it all.
The vast bacterial world, I like that.
It is vast. I mean, really vast.
So with that framework, right?
Yeah.
Let's jump into some bacteria we all know, like E. coli. Practically a household name.
Unfortunately.
Right. Not always for the right reasons.
You got that right.
But everyone's heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's for sure.
E. coli, yeah, it's gotten a bad rap. I mean, food poisoning.
Yeah. Serious.
Serious stuff, especially for kids.
Right.
But, and this is fascinating, but E. coli is also kind of a scientific superstar.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I guess I just think of,
I know, right?
like, illness.
Illness, food poisoning. That's it.
Yeah, never really considered other roles.
It's true, though. It's so easy to grow in the lab.
Is it?
Super easy.
Yeah.
So it's been used in tons of genetic studies, like helped us understand our own DNA. Crucial for producing synthetic insulin.
So while some strains make us sick, it's also...
Revolutionized medicine, seriously.
That's wild.
It is pretty wild.
Okay.
So E. coli, bit of a double agent then.
Haha, that's one way to put it.
Speaking of bacteria with, mixed reputations, I got salmonella down here. Not a name you want to see on a menu, I'll tell you that.
You are right about that.
But just like E. coli.
Uh-huh.
Different types, right?
Oh, yeah, different types of salmonella, some worse than others.
I remember reading about salmonella typhi, typhoid fever.
Seemed like a huge problem, like way back before all the
Yeah.
sanitation stuff we have now.
Oh, yeah, before modern sanitation. Salmonella typhi, serious pathogen. Outbreaks were, devastating.
I can imagine.
Especially before we knew.
How it spreads.
Yeah, how it spread. You know the story of Typhoid Mary?
I've heard of her.
Classic example. You can carry and spread something without knowing it.
Wow.
Typhoid today, though.
Yeah.
Much less common now.
In developed countries, for sure.
Exactly. Thanks to sanitation, vaccines, But still a problem in places without clean water, healthcare.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes it takes hearing those stories to realize, like...
How far we've come.
Yeah, how far we've come.
Public health has made a huge difference.
Absolutely huge.
In controlling these diseases.
All right, moving on. Another familiar name. Streptococcus?
Oh, yeah. Strep throat.
Strep throat, but my notes suggest it's,
Is that a one-trick Tony?
No, not at all.
Streptococcus genus, incredibly diverse. Really diverse. Some species, like Streptococcus pyogenes,
Okay.
all sorts of infections from strep throat, scarlet fever, even necrotizing fasciitis.
That's the
The flesh-eating disease.
Yeah, that one.
It is. But then you have Streptococcus mutans.
Oh, cavities.
The cavity culprit.
Ugh. Public enemy #1 in my book, seriously.
I hear you on that one.
Crazy how much variety there is.
It really is.
Within just one.
One genus.
Yeah, I know, right? It's all about the species, how it interacts with us,
It's not just the name, it's the specific species.
Exactly. And even within a species, variations in, how do I put this?
Virulence,
Virulence, yes, how capable it is of causing disease.
which is why some E.
Some
coli,
are harmless, others put you in the hospital.
right.
So much complexity. It's tiny but complex.
It really makes you rethink things. But before we get
Big doom and gloom.
yeah, to doom and gloom, my notes also have some, like,
Huh.
beneficial bacteria. I'm intrigued. Oh, for sure. Well, consider lactobacillus, yogurt, right?
Okay.
Crucial role in, this is important, very important, maintaining a healthy vaginal microbiome.
Hold on. Are you saying the same bacteria that, like, makes yogurt tangy
Yep, that's the one.
is also
Keeping things balanced.
down there? Wow. That's
Amazing.
pretty amazing. Lactobacillus, I forgive you. All those years of forced yogurt eating as a kid.
I'm sure it appreciates that.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of beneficial, we can't forget streptomyces. These soil bacteria, they're like tiny little pharmaceutical factories, you know?
No way.
Seriously, they produce a lot of the antibiotics we use.
Whoa, so some bacteria
From our allies
against other bacteria.
in the fight, yeah.
That's incredible. It's like, I don't know, a microscopic version of the Avengers.
Uh-huh, I like it.
Streptomyces, the superhero scientist fighting the villains.
That's a great analogy, but it's not always a clear victory, right? Antibiotic resistance?
Oh, right.
It's serious. And it's a constant race to find new antibiotics. As bacteria evolve and, you know,
Outsmart us.
outsmart us, exactly.
So it's a never-ending.
Never ending.
Both sides adapting, evolving.
That's a good way to put it.
Intense.
It is pretty intense down there.
And speaking of battles,
What?
things are about to get scarier.
Oh.
Because next up,
Next up.
bacteria with seriously scary reputations.
Let's do it. We're ready.
You ready?
Yeah, bring on the bacterial bad guys. We're moving into what I like to call
Ooh, I like it already.
microbial marvels and menaces.
Marvels and menaces. I like it.
Some of these bacteria, I mean, they've developed some
Impressive.
well, you can call them that, strategies for causing disease.
Yeah, impressive might not be the word I'd use.
Haha, fair enough.
If I was on the receiving end, that is.
True, true. Okay, so first up on the bacterial bad guy list,
We're keeping a list.
we are now Clostridium. I'm sensing a theme here, these names.
Yeah, they don't exactly sound friendly, do they?
They really don't. And, well, their reputations are well-earned. Clostridium species, they're anaerobes.
Anaerobes.
Means they thrive in environments.
Without oxygen.
Exactly. No oxygen. And some of them produce these toxins that are, well, incredibly potent, to put it mildly.
Got it. No oxygen. Big trouble. Okay, looking at my notes here, we've got Clostridium botulinum.
Ah, yes. Botulinum toxin.
Which produces the deadliest natural toxin we know.
As far as we know, yeah.
That's a pretty scary title to have.
It really is. Causes flaccid paralysis.
Flaccid paralysis.
You know, Botox.
Right, Botox.
Same toxin, but tiny doses.
Yeah.
Smooth wrinkles, treat some medical conditions, but
in larger amounts.
in larger amounts, fatal.
Okay, that is one of those science is amazing and terrifying moments.
Isn't it? It really is.
It's just wild how something so dangerous can also have, like,
medical uses.
yeah, medical applications.
It's all about control, right?
Yeah.
Understanding the toxin, careful control.
Control is key. All right, back to the scarier side of Clostridium.
Oh, there's more.
There's more, yeah. My notes mention gas gangrene, Clostridium perfringens.
Ah, yes, Clostridium perfringens. Nasty one.
That sounds absolutely horrific.
It was a huge problem, you know, before antibiotics.
Before antibiotics, right.
Especially in wartime. Deep wounds, contaminated with soil, you know. Soil often contains Clostridium perfringens spores.
Spores, right.
Perfect conditions for it to thrive.
I can't even imagine what those soldiers went through. It's really,
Makes you think.
yeah. How much antibiotics have changed things?
Changed the course of history, really. Revolutionized medicine,
Right.
but antibiotic resistance,
Right. Always a concern.
we've got to use them responsibly.
Absolutely. Can't stress that enough.
It's crucial.
Okay, moving on from the nightmare fuel that is gas gangrene.
On to the next one.
Yes, we've got another Clostridium species to contend with. Clostridium tetanus, that's the one, right?
That's the one. Produces a toxin, causes rigid paralysis.
Rigid, so the opposite of botulism.
Exactly. Opposite effects. Tetanus
Yes.
is serious, potentially fatal.
But
We have a vaccine.
thank goodness for vaccines.
Right. Vaccine's one of the best things we've ever come up with.
Absolutely. All right, shifting gears a bit. Mycobacterium. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It does have a certain ring to it.
It really does.
Mycobacterium species, they're unique. waxy cell walls.
Okay.
Makes them resistant to a lot of antibiotics.
So they're tough.
They are tough. They're also slow-growing, which makes them even more challenging.
To treat.
To treat, exactly. Like the ultimate survivors.
Oh, tough to kill. And once they're in...
They're not in a hurry to leave.
And Mycobacterium tuberculosis, TB, that's probably the most...
Most well-known.
Yeah, the most well-known one.
Serious respiratory infection, still a major global problem.
Especially with...
the rise of multi-drug resistant strains.
Multi-drug resistant strains, right?
It's a reminder that,
the fight's not over.
it's not over. Not even close.
Speaking of diseases I thought were a thing of the past,
Oh, boy.
Mycobacterium leprae.
Leprosy.
Or Hansen's disease.
Right.
Still around, but
But much less common.
much less common, thankfully.
The
Affects the cooler parts of the body.
cool parts.
Skin, nerves, upper respiratory tract. Chronic infection. If it's not treated,
Yeah.
disfigurement, disability.
That's just heartbreaking.
It is. It really is. It really puts things in perspective.
It does. So while Clostridium is known for,
The dramatic toxins.
the dramatic, fast-acting toxins, Mycobacterium is like,
The long game.
the long game.
Slow and steady.
Slowly but steadily causing damage.
Very different strategies, but both can be, well,
Devastating.
devastating is a good word.
Okay, let's move on to another group that caught my attention. The obligate intracellular parasites.
Ooh, that's a mouthful.
Right. The name alone, it's just sinister.
A little bit sinister, yeah. Well, they're called obligate because
It goes.
they can't survive on their own. They need a host.
So they're hijacking our cells to survive.
In a way, yeah. That's both fascinating and creepy.
I know, right?
Well,
Like unwelcome roommates.
but roommates who, can't do anything for themselves.
Exactly. Just take.
So what are some examples of these cellular squatters?
Two important groups.
Okay, hit me.
Rickettsia and chlamydia.
Wait, chlamydia? Like the STI?
The one and only.
Wow, okay.
Chlamydia trachomatis.
Yeah.
Very common cause of non-gonococcal urethritis, which, if it's not treated,
Can lead
to serious
Yeah.
complications.
Yeah, serious complications. I had no idea there were other types of chlamydia, though.
Oh, yeah. Other species, they cause different things. Trachoma, for instance. Leading cause of preventable blindness
Worldwide.
worldwide.
I had no idea chlamydia was behind that, too.
It is. Definitely a bacteria you don't want to mess with.
All right, what about rickettsia? What does it do?
Rickettsia species usually spread through insect bites.
Like ticks.
Ticks, fleas, yeah. They cause some serious illnesses, like Rocky Mountain spotted fever,
Oh, wow.
typhus.
Okay, another reason to avoid ticks.
Seriously, avoid those ticks.
All right, I'm also seeing Legionella here.
Legionella, water system.
Water systems, right?
Yeah, Legionella pneumophila, first discovered
Where?
1976.
A while ago?
It was. There was a mysterious outbreak of pneumonia at an American Legion convention.
So this bacteria
Crashed a party.
crashed a party and made medical history. That's quite the entrance.
It was a memorable debut. We know now that it can be found in lots of water sources, air conditioning systems, hot tubs even.
So I should think twice before using the hotel hot tub.
Maybe skip that one. But it can cause a severe form of pneumonia,
Yeah.
Legionnaire's disease.
Okay, good to know. Back to our bacterial bad guys. I'm seeing Neisseria gonorrhea,
Gonorrhea,
right? And Treponema pallidum.
syphilis.
Syphilis, yep. Serious stuff.
They are. Long-term consequences if they're not treated.
Definitely not something you want to ignore.
Exactly. Treatable with antibiotics, but prevention is always best, right?
Right.
Safe sex, regular checkups.
Couldn't agree more. Okay. Bacteroides fragilis.
Now that one,
Rings a bell, but...
it's not one you hear every day.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's one of the most common bacteria in the human colon.
Wait, so it's in our guts right now?
Right now.
And it's considered potentially dangerous?
Well, like a lot of bacteria, it has
A dual nature.
a dual nature, yeah. Usually peaceful, hanging out in the gut microbiome.
Ah.
But if it gets into the wrong place, the abdominal cavity, serious infections, peritonitis,
Oh, so it's another one of those.
friend or foe,
Friend or foe. Depends on the situation.
the microbial version of a frenemy.
I like that. All right, two more on our list. Campylobacter and Helicobacter.
Campylobacter jejuni,
That one sounds familiar.
food poisoning, usually from undercooked poultry.
Ah, that's why we cook chicken all the way through.
Exactly. Got to kill those bacteria.
What about Helicobacter?
Helicobacter pylori. This one's fascinating.
Really?
Yeah, it's responsible for most gastric ulcers.
Ulcers. I thought that was stress and spacey food.
That's what everyone thought for a long time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. But research back in the 80s showed that Helicobacter pylori infection,
It's the main cause.
the main cause, yeah, burrows into the stomach lining, inflammation, ulcers.
Wow. So ulcers are often treatable with
Antibiotics.
science for the win.
Right. Amazing what research can do.
Before we move on, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, what's that?
Antibiotic resistance. It seems like a recurring theme.
It is a serious concern.
So what can we do? Are we doomed?
Not doomed, not yet. But we need to be careful. Judicious with antibiotics, use them only when absolutely necessary. Invest in research. Find new antibiotics.
New antibiotics. Okay.
Explore alternative therapies like
Yeah.
phage therapy.
Phage therapy.
Yeah. Phages are viruses that infect and kill bacteria
So we're fighting fire with fire, but like,
on a microscopic level.
that's fascinating.
It is. It really is. Exciting area of research. Lots of promise.
All right, last but not least, the pseudomonads. They sound like trouble.
Pseudomonads. That's a big group.
A big group of bacteria.
Yeah. Genus Pseudomonas. And yeah, some of them,
Can cause problems?
they can cause problems.
Oh, it makes them so tricky.
Pseudomonas species, they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Soil, water, even our skin.
Oh, great.
They're also known for being resistant
Yeah.
to antibiotics, disinfectants.
They're like, what? The cockroaches of bacteria.
Uh-huh. That's one way to put it. Super resilient.
And they cause
All sorts of problems. Urinary tract infections, wound infections, pneumonia,
pneumonia.
particularly in people
Like,
with cystic fibrosis.
Cystic fibrosis, right. Why is that?
Well, people with cystic fibrosis, they have thick mucus in their lungs.
Right.
Creates a perfect environment for Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas aeruginosa, that's one of the most common ones.
And it causes...
Lung infections, which can be life-threatening.
That's so sad.
It is. My notes say something about a grape-like smell.
Oh, what?
A grape-like smell with Pseudomonas infections. Apparently, some species produce these pigments,
Mm-hmm.
give infected wounds or pus,
Mm-hmm.
a greenish-blue color,
Okay.
and that distinctive grape-like odor.
Well, that's a detail I won't forget. So if your wound smells like a winery,
See, doctor?
immediate... Well, I think we've covered...
Most of the bacterial bad guys.
We've been through a lot.
We have. It's a
Yeah.
whole world out there.
It really is. This has been an incredible journey. I've learned so much.
Me too.
And I'm definitely leaving with a new appreciation.
A new appreciation.
Yeah, for these tiny but mighty organisms.
They may be small,
But
but
they have a huge impact.
they really do. A hidden universe
It really is.
full of life, and it influences us in so many ways.
In countless ways.
Countless, yeah. And, you know, it's not just about,
The bad guys.
not just the bad guys. Bacteria, they're essential
Mm.
to our ecosystems, our health, even our food.
That's true. I feel like
Do
we
I
get
hope
caught up
not.
in the negatives.
Negative, yeah.
But they do so much good, too.
They really do.
Yeah.
Nutrient cycling, for example.
Nutrient cycling.
Yeah, in the environment. Breaking down organic matter. Releasing nutrients that plants can use.
Okay.
And nitrogen fixation.
Nitrogen fixation.
Super important. Converting nitrogen from the air into a form plants can use.
Wow.
I mean, without bacteria,
Yeah.
life wouldn't exist as we know it.
That's a great point. It's like we're all part of this,
This web,
this web of life.
this intricate web,
And bacteria are like the weavers.
holding it all together.
So much bigger than we realize.
Right. The more we learn,
Yeah.
the more we understand and appreciate them.
It's amazing to think about. They're so tiny, but they
Oh.
have this huge impact.
They do. It's humbling.
It really is. So what about the future? Antibiotic resistance, new pathogens,
Yeah. Sounds like
a lot of challenges.
lots of challenges. Yeah. But I'm hopeful.
You are? I am.
Scientists are working hard. New antibiotics, alternative therapies like phage therapy,
Oh, right. Phage therapy.
and just understanding how to prevent infections.
Prevention is key.
It's a battle, but we're learning.
What are some of the most
Most.
promising areas of research right now?
Well, phage therapy is definitely
topic.
not topic.
Yeah.
Viruses that kill bacteria.
Yeah.
Super specific. They target only certain
So
bacteria.
it's like a guided missile system,
Uh-huh. Exactly.
but for bacteria.
Only the bad guys.
That's so cool. Are there any
Challenges.
challenges? Yeah.
Well, finding the right phage,
For the right bacteria.
right, for the specific infection.
Makes sense.
Bacteria evolve.
So
So
they just have to keep up.
they have to keep up. Yeah. And we have to make sure
Make sure that they're
safe for us.
right, safe for humans.
Lots of research happening there.
What about new antibiotics? Any progress there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Scientists are looking at new ways to target bacteria,
New ways.
focusing on things that are essential for bacteria,
Okay.
but not for us, for human cells.
So less.
Side effects.
Fewer side effects. And less risk of resistance.
It's a lot.
Doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. There's hope.
There's definitely hope. We just got to stay,
Vigilant.
Informed, proactive.
Proactive.
Invest in research. Use antibiotics responsibly. Educate people. Hygiene, vaccination, all that good stuff.
Well said. This has been
quite a journey.
An incredible journey. The bacterial world.
The bacterial world, yeah.
I've learned so much. I have a new appreciation. For these tiny organisms. They might be small. But they have a huge impact.
Huge impact. And on that note,
yeah,
I think we'll wrap things up.
Thanks for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Everyone, we'll be back soon with another deep dive into the world of science.